Hello, everybody. My name is Yurik Lozano, and I'm the marketing director for Empire Medical Training. And with me, I have the incomparable Dr. Croley. For those of you who don't know, Dr. Croley has traveled across the entire United States. He's actually a major KOL here in the US and internationally. I'm very happy to have you. Thank you so much. And for joining me on this very almost mini marketing little med spa tutorial, whatever we're going to call it.
I know we're going to share all of our secrets today, so I'm excited to be here with you.
Yeah. So there are many students throughout the ages. You know, you and I both teach the MedSpa Business and Marketing Masterclass, and throughout our history together, students have had issues. They're almost oftentimes the same issue that we see happening throughout. Some of those, I mean, you can even go about them, but some are opening the med spa. Where do I start? And not only from the operational side, but also from the business and marketing side, because oftentimes they even overlook things like KPIs.
Yeah.
So from an operational side, what do you think is the biggest downside or biggest problem, and even things that they can do to improve?
So operationally, I think a lot of the med spa owners really kind of have an idea of what they need to do, but they don't know how to go about doing it. So they don't know how to measure anything within their practice. And so operationally, we try to train and put a lot of effort into teaching them and coaching them on how they can start making systems that work, systems that can scale. And the only way they can do that is knowing their data, knowing their numbers. And they have to do this on the operational side and the marketing side. And so we really, in 2 days of our full version of our masterclass, we delved into those topics. And so we look at operationally, how do you set up your business? What is the legal structure that is the best suited for your individual practice? If you're not going to do that yourself, what are the resources? Where can we direct you that you can find people to help you set it up properly so that you can grow your practice, scale your practice, but at the same time, ensure that your assets are protected, that you're under the proper tax structure, and that you're not going to end up, having some huge tax liability at the end of the year because you made some simple mistake in the way that you set up. So we do that a lot on day one. I find that, in general, as I talk to people, they have an idea or they have a concept of what they want to do with their practice, but there's this huge gap between my vision and what I want to do and then how to implement it. They spend lots of time learning the medical procedures, learning how to be technically very skilled and perform the procedures that we teach throughout all of our courses at Empire Medical Training. So they may be great at administering Botox. They may be the best injector with filler and with biostimulants, but they struggle with, how do I hire a dream team? How do I get the team of people around me to help me scale this? And more often than that, what we get and what I've learned so much from you over the years is, how do I get patients in the chair? So you may be a great injector, but if your chair is empty all day long, it does not matter how good you are, your business will still fail.
Right. It's interesting to me how, oftentimes when you think of business and marketing, it's almost a scary topic for many healthcare providers. It's something that they never studied in their entire lives. I mean, they're so good at being healthcare professionals, injecting and so on, possibly learning Botox and dermal filler with Empire Medical Training and going more the cash pay route. But business and marketing is a completely separate, different thing for them. What I love about our class is it's almost a little mini MBA that they're going to get, not only learning about the SEO and SEM and all these different topics and key performance indicators, but they learned the things that they need to do right now, today, if they had a very small budget, to really hit the ground running and start getting those clients through the door. So it's a really comprehensive course that we're both really very proud of.
Yeah. So I think one of the things, and we can delve into this a little bit so they can leave this little mini version today with something tangible to take home. I think something that all of them struggle with is the marketing aspect. In general, we have as much interest in that as we do in the operational side. One of the things we always point out is that you have to be, again, technically skilled and the best at what you do clinically. There's no amount of marketing and business that we can teach you that's going to cover up for bad skills. So for sure, making sure that you have the proper training and education to do all of these procedures. We're starting this class with that as a given, that by the time you're going to be operating your business, that you know how to perform the procedures, or that you're taking the classes you're currently enrolled to do that. And so then let's fast forward to the actual opening your business. And we've got all the operational side of it optimized. Now, how do we get patients in the chair to showcase our work and so that we can continue to scale that? And that is where your whole entire career has really been spent, and you've done everything in this marketing world, from branding, brand development,
I've done everything.
advertising,
Videos. I mean, you
uh,
think about it, I've worked on a regional theater. I've worked
yeah,
in many facets of marketing.
the public
Um,
relations, the
Public
PR
relations
stand
side.
part of it. You really have done a lot of that. So if you had to advise someone starting today on the best strategy to get patients in the chair, is there one that you would pick? Is there one just things that you've got to do this if you do nothing else?
Yes. So whenever we think of marketing, we always think about social media as the gate almost. But realistically, that I would almost tell everybody stay away from that. First build the tools that you need to get started right away. So you're going to need a Google My Business account and start building that out. You're going to want to start creating a website, of course. And in fact, we talk about this in our course, but without a website, it's really difficult for the person to understand who you are as a brand. And what I mean by that is before the person gets through the door and sees your practice, and actually just recently someone came up to me and they said, I am in an acupuncture clinic and I have a room there, but I'm concerned that once the person comes into my practice, like where do I sit them? It's an acupuncture clinic. What I told her was, you don't have to worry about that because the moment you start putting ad dollars behind Facebook and or Google ads, the moment the person lands on your website, that's your face. Everything you put on your website, your mission and vision statement, which we talk about in our class, the feel, the tone, the language, the visuals, the logo, all of those things emote and make the person feel a certain way. And so if you're going towards a luxury brand and maybe you choose golds and browns and warmer tones is like beige, they already have that feeling before they get to your practice. So definitely create a website. And then something that I feel very passionately about, which will help you grow in the long term if you don't have a lot of capital to start out with, it's blogs. Now, I'm not saying become a blogger, which was overlooked. Some students in our class actually thought I was saying become a blogger and started doing that, or a video blogger, but that is not what I mean at all. I literally mean start writing content because as these consumers are looking for your brand and they're looking for the best Botox places near me to get those injections, as they start looking for weight loss treatments near me, what they're going to land on is a blog that you wrote for your
You're a
website. Yeah,
I don't have enough time to like worry about my payroll, doing my P&L,
sure.
ordering my products. How do I find time to write blogs now?
Hmm.
And how many blogs do I need to write?
That is a great question. And actually, with the advent of AI, you can do that much quickly. So, many people might be afraid of AI. You might not know about AI,
You know,
but
I love
but
AI.
but
For
AI,
those of you who don't know, I love it. I
yeah,
embrace it.
AI is here and it's not going anywhere. For those that are somewhat concerned that it's going to take over the world, it might, we don't know. But right now it's a tool like any other. Just like an artist picks up a brush to paint something, AI helps you develop things much faster. And so what's happening is instead of you having to spend a lot of money, time, and resources hiring somebody to do the work, which could be very expensive,
Mm.
now with AI, you can create a prompt, which could be a short little sentence telling the system what to do, and it can build a blog in a matter of
Yeah.
seconds.
And we actually, I think it was a lot of fun. We did this in the last masterclass that we taught, and we did it live. It was the first time we did this, and we took everyone in the class. We had them set up an account, and we had them write a prompt. And to me, one of the most, I think, the reactions that I gauge and agree or disagree with me was they were all shocked about how long the prompt was. I think many of them was familiar with AI, with a program like ChatGPT or any of the other ones out there,
Sure.
but they all were writing these simple little prompts that would say, "Write me a blog for my med
Write me a
spa.
blog.
Write me
Yeah,
a blog for my med
right.
spa," and it would spit out something very generic that wasn't that great and wasn't that good. And so we walked them through writing this prompt. And I don't know, maybe we'll cut this out of here, maybe we'll leave it in, but maybe that's something free that we should give away with this. Is that
I'm
maybe we should give
I
away
think
the
we
prompt,
should.
and that will be one of the things that for watching this that you guys can get
Yeah.
access to, is that you can get a prompt very similar that you can customize for your, but we took them through this, and it was a long prompt, but it was something that they could use and they could program in, and they could use this prompt to write blogs for them.
Yeah.
So when they say we don't have time, believe me, I understand time management and fitting a lot of things in the day, but it was a great tool. It was a great exercise. They all really enjoyed it. And now they're able to create a lot of content to really be seen as the experts in that
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, I think what's great about our class is just like any tool, you need to know the basics. And with the basics, that allows you to then be able to ask the system to deliver the right words and so on, right? So what oftentimes happens is when a person doesn't know which questions to ask, they create very general prompts, like you mentioned.
Mhm.
So you might say, write a blog about Botox treatments, and the system will certainly do that. But will it work for search engine optimization? Will it work for answer engine optimization, which is how AI delivers the results to you when you're looking for something on Google? And so all of those terms that they're going to be learning in the class are really what's going to set them apart from other practices in the area. We know that competitors aren't going anywhere. And in fact, as a marketer, I actually welcome competition. I don't believe in competition personally. I think there are so many things and you can learn so many different competitive advantages that are going to make you stand out versus everybody else, which we also cover in our class. But blogs are very important. I could go over some things quickly. The biggest thing is when you design a landing page, the blog is going to have an H1. That's a title. And on every single blog, and this is more coding once you start working with your developers to build out your blog, whether you do that on a
And
WordPress
this
or a
is for, let's
Shopify.
just back up a little
Yeah,
bit. We talk about this all the time, so I know the words and things that you're
sure.
talking about. But you're talking about it when you say a landing page. This is a place that will redirect them on your website.
Yeah.
And so, as you develop your website and work with your website developer, there's going to be pages within your website,
Yes.
and your blogs
Mhm.
are your articles. It's a page where you put information, so informational articles that you're writing,
Yeah.
content that you're generating, so that these engines, so the answer engines, the search engines, things like SEO, those terms that you hear, they will recognize you as the authority. It's going to direct back to your website when people search for that.
That's right.
And so it's a way over time that we get that to recognize us as a leader or as top in that field or top when someone's searching for that
Mhm.
service. How long does it take these blogs to start really generating traffic and start working to bring people to my website?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, topical authority is very important,
Mhm.
and Google cares that you're an authoritative figure within the space. And so the only way to do that is, of course, to write blogs. It takes a while. So it takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months to 1 year to start seeing results. So that's unlike paid PPC campaigns where you're going to see the results right away.
Mhm.
Those users have a higher intent to purchase. Therefore, you're going to see results a lot
Mhm.
quicker. But with SEO, you can create commercial and informational intent blogs. And you're right. So the blog is basically a landing page. And to further elaborate on that, a landing page is almost like a clean canvas. Your homepage on a website. That's the first thing that people see when they go to your website, say skinandtonic.pro. The first thing they see is your homepage. That is a landing page. And so every other landing page that you build from that, whether that's a contact page or a Botox page that talks about the procedure, that's a landing page. So the blog is no different than that. And it's going to have your headline.
Yeah.
It's going to have a shareable little snippet where maybe they can share it through a copy link that they can read, put that on their website. They can share that through social media platforms and so on. It'll have an author and then it'll have the blog content pertaining to a keyword. Keywords are very important. Keywords are the words that people are searching for as they're on Google. So if the person is looking for Botox near me or Botox injections near me, then that headline should clearly be inside of the title tag of the blog. And everything underneath it should be what keywords are related. And there are many tools on the market that can allow you to find which keywords people are searching for by volume.
Yeah, and we go over a lot of those
We
in
do.
the full version of the masterclass. So I think it's a great advice. I agree with you on that. I think that your website is your virtual representation and how people know you before they ever set foot in your door.
Yeah.
And you need to put your resources in developing that before you even open your door. So when people say, when do I start? If I'm opening in January, then I'd say you're behind the eight ball if you haven't started that at least in October. So you need to start months
So,
ahead of time. So developing that website and developing these
yeah.
blog posts and content. Now, another, I think, just kind of free advice that we can give today, piece of the bigger class, we both talked about it briefly in the beginning, was knowing your data, knowing your metrics, knowing your
Mm,
KPIs or KPIs or key performance
yeah.
indicators.
And you cover the operational ones very well because there are a lot of marketing ones, but you cover the revenue and so
Yeah, we
much
go over
more.
pricing strategies. We go over, looking literally, which is a little bit in both days, but looking at your fixed cost, your variable cost, and how that factors into what you're doing every day in your practice.
Mhm.
But when it gets back to this, looking at our website and looking at our paid Google, our paid social, and things like billboards and magazine ads, we see people that want to do that a lot. They love to see their face on a billboard. Their mom loves
It's
to
almost a
see
sign
them.
of success.
A sign of
Right, for
success,
them.
right? Their mom loves to see them in one of the local magazines. They're very proud of them. But how do we actually know? Is there a way to know if those types of marketing are effective or not?
hmm Well, absolutely. I mean, there are so many metrics you can look at. You and I briefly talked about this before being here today, but billboards aren't so effective, and I'm sure you agree with me on this. Unless you're somebody that we call it in marketing, you have an evoked set of brands, or at least you're very top of mind for people. So think Lady Gaga.
Mhm.
Unless you're Lady Gaga and your face is literally Gaga and everybody knows who you are, when you're a med spa trying to build a billboard, it's just not very effective. Now, there are ways, like you said, to measure that. You can put a QR code on it. Maybe after the patient intake form, you ask them, what was your experience and where did you hear about us? You can put it there as well. But if you're a med spa owner starting out, I don't know if I would allocate your funds or your towards
But we're gonna tell them this. They're gonna hear this, and many of them are gonna go out and buy billboards.
they probably.
They're gonna talk to local marketing agencies. They're gonna talk to local marketers, and they're gonna be selling billboards.
Well, and the problem is a lot of these people will tell you that it's going to work,
Yep.
right? You
Well, they'll
work with
tell
an
you you're
email.
exposed
Yeah.
to 20,000 people per day, or this traffic is 300,000 per day. And they give you these big numbers about traffic that comes by that sign. And the presumption is if we're exposed to that many people,
It's going to
it
work.
will equate to some in the chair.
Sure.
But really what I want to talk about is the part that you just started to elaborate on is the QR code or some way, some mechanism of tracking that. That's to me the key. So
Mhm.
if you bought the billboard already and you have it, let's track it, because that's what I really love about data is we can look at this over time, and we can look at things like our customer acquisition costs. I love to talk about this. It's something that we both are passionate about. I talk about it a lot, but we look at and teach you how do we put all forms of marketing together. So I'll look at how much do I spend over a period of time, and that includes everything. So my billboards, magazine ads, Google keywords, paid social, if I'm doing a local chamber of commerce, like all the different things I'm doing, we put that together in one pile and we look over a period of time. Let's say I spent, $3,000 in 1 month. And in that month, I got 3 new patients. It cost me $1,000 each to get those 3 patients, right?
Don't be scared, by the way,
Don't
because
be scared
normally
of the
when we
number.
talk about these numbers, people freak out a
Yeah, they
little bit.
freak
So
out.
let's not scare the
No, but
audience.
let's just say that's a simple, easy math for me to do on
Sure,
the moment here,
sure,
right?
sure.
But now let's look at that and we can dial it in a little bit more, because now I can look at all those different channels and I can say, okay, how many did I get from the Chamber of Commerce? How many did I get from the local billboard? How many did I get from Google? And I can figure out if my average was 1,000, was there one of those channels that it was a lot cheaper? So maybe I got a lot more through one of them. Let's say I paid $50 per, but some of them cost me 2,000 per.
Mm,
Now I can make educated decisions as I move forward as to how I'm going to reshift or reallocate my marketing dollars to do what's most effective. So if you have those forms of marketing right now, I'm not saying, that your business is going to fail, but I would encourage you to start measuring it. So, when that contract is up in 3 months or 6 months, that you can make an educated decision
sure.
about moving forward with that.
Yeah.
And then also, before you go into it, I do agree with you. I don't think it's the best. So if you're at the pre-startup phase or if you're just starting, I would not put money into those. I don't think that they convert that
Yeah.
well.
I mean, if you have a lot of capital to spend and you want that brand awareness for whatever reason, and it's your decision as a business owner, you can certainly put the money there. So I agree. Obviously, we're not telling them not to do that. And there are many reasons why people do things. Sometimes it's just vanity. I just want it up because I want to make my mom happy for whatever reason. But if you don't have a lot of capital and you want to maximize your funds, we have to be smart. And so the best way to do that, let's say you only have a $2,000 a budget every single month, that's where these metrics really matter, because you're going to say, for these $2,000, I want the best bang for my buck. I really want to juice this and I want the best results. I want X amount of patients through the door. You're going to learn all of that and more in our class.
Yeah. No, it's a fun class. It's an exciting class. We're looking at expanding it and doing workshops next year. Guys, watch on the website. You'll see more information coming about that. All the things we talked about today is included in the class in a very elaborated form. We'll see if Yurik will put up that prompt. It's a lot of valuable information. Maybe he'll give his secret prompt away. If not, you got to take the class to get the prompt and learn how to write more on your own.
Let's see. Yeah, I'll think
So,
about it.
well, thanks for having this. I think this is going to be really beneficial for our students. I hope to see a lot of you guys in our future business classes. They're expanding into 2026.
They
And
are.
so Yurik and I teach most of them. We do have some other amazing marketing professionals and other amazing physicians that do teach this course occasionally. But for the most part, you're going to get one of the two of us there. And we look forward to seeing you.